My name is Elena Oliva. I am a transplant from New York and live in Bridgeport and work here in New Haven at the Connecticut Mental Health Center as the Director of Social Work. I am a child immigrant from Cuba, came with my family to this country, and off we go to kindergarten. And I realized that the world is not speaking in a way that I can understand. I was very afraid, and I could see my mother walking away. We're all lined up in this huge courtyard, as the schools in New York were, and I began to run. The teacher turned around and I began to run. And I made it home before my mother did, which means I crossed streets, traffic, all kinds. And her face when she saw me was the horror. I could remember registering, why isn't she happy to see me? And then that became something I did every single day. I just needed to get away from what was so threatening and unfamiliar that I couldn't understand. But by the first grade, this became a problem, and truant officers were sent to my house. I had an aha moment, I think in the 5th grade, when in reading, I realized that I was understanding everything that I was reading. It opened up a whole new world. I was able to finish my undergrad education and ended up being invited to apply for a particular work-study program. It afforded me an exposure to a population of children that I was very, very interested in, children who did not live at home, children who had been separated from Spanish-speaking families, and so that was the caseload I got, and started noticing incredible amounts of problems that happened in their adjustment because people weren't understanding what was important to them. They sort of looked like they weren't reacting. They had this sort of flat, it's not the language that embraced them. And when I would talk to them, they say, what are you saying to them that they perk up like that? And it was hearing the language. Spanish is the language of my thinking, of my feeling, of my heart. And so it is the work that I've dedicated to in my doctoral work, the life of Spanish-speaking individuals, bilingual individuals, especially those that end up in the work I do in therapy. What happens to the training of those people that speak Spanish, that are getting degrees, and they're launched into the world to work with the immigrant population that so desperately needs us, but our education is not in the language that we're doing the treatment. You speak the language, go. And behold, the language that we have is not necessarily the language we need. And that presents some serious problems in how we help people heal. I was very fortunate to have been invited to participate in this, but even more fortunate to learn that there was such a thing as the Progreso Latino Fund, because it highlights a population of people that sometimes do a lot of tireless work quietly, and they're doing some really big things. And I think that it's beautiful that they get featured in some way.